Stop doing this to your hair bangs. There is something about bangs that feels both exciting and terrifying at the same time. They frame your face in a way that almost nothing else can. They can soften deep lines, draw attention to your eyes, and give you a look that feels entirely refreshed. But here is the truth that most women do not hear often enough. Bangs can also work against you when you are caring for them the wrong way. And if you are over 50, the stakes feel even higher. Your hair has changed. Its texture is different, its thickness is different, and the way it responds to heat, moisture, and products is completely different from what you remember. What worked for you in your 30s may not be working anymore, and that can be confusing. So today we are going to talk about the most common mistakes women make with their bangs, the ones that cause frizz, flatness, awkward shapes, and that frustrating feeling of your hair just not cooperating. Once you know what to stop doing, everything else becomes so much easier. Cutting them yourself without any sectioning. One of the most common things women do with their bangs is reach for the scissors the moment things start to feel a little too long. Seems harmless. You have done it before. How difficult can a small trim really be? But this is where so many women quietly damage the shape of their bangs without even realizing it. And it happens because of one simple mistake: cutting without sectioning first. When you skip sectioning, you are essentially treating your bangs as one flat, uniform chunk of hair. But bangs are not one flat thing. They have layers, density, and movement built into them. When your stylist cuts your bangs, she separates them carefully, works with the natural fall of each section, and shapes them in a way that accounts for how your specific hair behaves. When you cut them all at once without that preparation, you end up with a blunt, uneven line that can look harsh rather than soft. For women over 50, this matters even more. Hair at this stage tends to be finer, and fine hair shows every imperfection in the cut. A slightly crooked line, a section that was pulled at the wrong angle, a piece that was cut just a half-inch too short, all of it becomes visible. And once it is cut, you cannot uncook that. You have to wait for it to grow back, which can take weeks of awkward in-between styling. If you truly need to do a small trim at home, take your time. Section your bangs into at least 2 or 3 parts. Use sharp, proper hair scissors, never kitchen or craft scissors, which create split ends rather than clean cuts. Cut small amounts, check in a mirror, and step back to look at the full picture before cutting again. Better yet, ask your stylist to show you exactly how she sections your specific bangs, so you can follow the same pattern at home. The goal is to preserve the shape your stylist worked to create. Every time you grab the scissors impulsively, you risk losing that shape entirely, and then spending the next few months trying to grow it back into something wearable. Your bangs deserve a little more care than a quick snip over the bathroom sink. Skipping the blow dry and letting them air dry flat. Air drying your hair sounds like the healthy and gentle choice, and for most of your hair it truly can be. But for bangs specifically, air drying is one of the fastest ways to ruin their shape entirely. This is something many women do not expect, especially if they have been told for years that heat is the enemy. The truth is more nuanced than that, and when it comes to bangs, skipping the blow dry creates a completely different set of problems. When your bangs are wet, they are at their most flexible. The way they dry is the way they will stay, at least until you wet them again. If you let them air dry while you go about your morning, gravity takes over. Fine hair will dry flat against your forehead. Thicker hair may dry with a stubborn crease or split down the middle. Wavy or slightly coarse hair might dry in directions that have nothing to do with the style you were hoping for. None of this is fixable with a quick pass of your fingers. The blow dry is not about blasting your bangs with high heat. It is about guiding them while they are still responsive. A low or medium heat setting with a small round brush gives you control over the direction they fall. It lifts the roots just enough to prevent that flat, limp look that ages your face rather than softening it. It also sets the shape for the rest of the day, meaning you will spend less time fussing with them later. For women with fine or thinning hair around the fringe area, this step is genuinely important. Fine bangs that air dry flat can stick to your forehead in a way that actually emphasizes lines rather than concealing them. A gentle blow dry with a light lifting motion at the root changes everything about how your bangs frame your face. You do not need to blow dry your entire head every morning. Just focus on the bangs. It takes less than 3 minutes, and the difference in how polished and intentional your look feels is absolutely worth it. Waiting too long between trims. There is a quiet habit that undermines the look of your bangs more than almost anything else, and it is simply this: waiting too long to get them trimmed. It is completely understandable. Life gets busy. Salon appointments feel like a commitment. And sometimes bangs are growing out intentionally, which is a whole different kind of patience. But when you are wearing bangs as part of your regular style, the timeline between trims is much shorter than most women realize. And stretching it too long changes the entire character of your look. Bangs generally need a trim every 3 to 5 weeks. That feels frequent, but consider what happens when you push it to 8 or 10 weeks. The length starts to graze your eyebrows, then cover them, then brush your eyes. Your bangs shift from being a flattering frame to becoming an awkward curtain. You start pinning them back or pushing them to the side, which defeats the whole purpose of having them. And once they reach that in-between length, they rarely behave well on their own. For women over 50, this matters even more because the aging effect of slightly too long bangs is real. When bangs sit heavy over the brow line, they can cast a shadow that deepens rather than softens the look of lines around the eyes and forehead. A clean, well-trimmed fringe does the opposite. It lifts the face visually and draws attention upward toward the eyes in a genuinely youthful way. If regular salon visits feel like too much, ask your stylist if she offers quick bang trims between appointments, often at little or no charge. Some salons welcome this because it takes under 10 minutes. Keeping your bangs at the right length is one of the simplest things you can do to keep your entire look feeling intentional, polished, and beautifully maintained. Using the wrong brush for styling and shaping. The brush you use on your bangs matters far more than most people think. This is one of those details that gets overlooked because it seems minor, but it is actually one of the biggest differences between bangs that look intentional and bangs that look messy or flat regardless of how much time you spend on them. The wrong brush does not just fail to help. It can actually undo the shape you are trying to create. Many women use whatever brush is already on the counter, whether that is a large paddle brush, a wide-toothed detangling brush, or sometimes even a comb designed for other parts of the hair. These tools are wonderful for their intended purposes, but they do very little to style and direct the specific fall of bangs. A large paddle brush, for example, pulls your bangs straight down without lifting the root or shaping the ends. The result is flat, one-dimensional hair that offers no movement or softness. What bangs actually need is a small round brush. The size of the round brush matters too. A smaller barrel, roughly the same width as your bangs or slightly narrower, gives you control and curvature. As you blow dry, you can roll the brush slightly under or to the side to create that gentle arc that makes bangs look so intentionally styled. This small motion at the root is what creates lift. This motion at the ends is what creates softness rather than a blunt, flat line. For women over 50 whose hair may be finer or slightly more delicate, a natural bristle round brush is particularly kind to the hair. It distributes the heat more evenly and creates less friction than synthetic bristles. This translates to smoother, shinier bangs with less frizz and flyaway. Investing in one small quality round brush specifically for your bangs is an easy change with a visible difference every single morning. Your bangs are such a small part of your overall hair, and yet they have an enormous influence on how the whole look comes together. They frame your eyes, soften your forehead, and give your face a sense of shape and intention that is genuinely beautiful. And what we have talked about today are not complicated changes. They are small shifts in habit, taking an extra moment before reaching for the scissors, letting the blow dryer do its gentle work, choosing a lighter product, keeping your trim appointments, and using the right brush. That is really all it takes. When these little things are done consistently, your bangs stop being a source of frustration and start being one of your most powerful style choices. They work with you rather than against you. And that feeling of your hair simply cooperating and looking like the best version of itself is worth every bit of the effort. You deserve to feel confident and beautiful every single day. And sometimes the most meaningful changes come not from doing more, but from stopping the things that were quietly working against you all along. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path.